got a job, so what the fuck does it matter?
Okay, we're about to go live.
All right, dude. I'm gonna find the stream.
Hello. It starts with you. Okay. Did you see it? Oh.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see where it started?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we live now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I might as well repeat. Yeah, I'm on the right stream as well. Your camera's not showing though. It just says slightly slanted sleuth.
Okay, I'll check it
Oh,
out.
no. The stream, the actual YouTube stream is slightly delayed from us though, isn't it? So,
yeah. Is it showing my video now?
I don't know. There's yeah. We're good. Right place, right time.
Hello, everybody. Joined today with Jack from. Why don't you tell us your YouTube channel name, Jack?
My YouTube channel. You never pronounce it correctly, do you?
That's why I'm having you say it this time.
Frater Deus es Veritas, which means God is the truth or truth. So yeah, man. Yeah.
How have you been, brother?
I've been no. I'm getting better. I'm getting better, man. I'm getting better. I was just well, I'll say what I was just saying to you. I've decided that I'm going to move back to America probably around May next year, because I keep having these dreams where I telling people I regret leaving America and coming back to the UK, and your subconscious doesn't lie to you. It's incapable of lying to you. So I have this. I don't know why I want to go back, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe God has a plan for me. So,
well, we must follow our destiny, right?
Yeah, that's it. And also, Steve, like, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of thinking like, if I just had a random shitty job that had like retirement, full medical, whatever, 40 hours a week, it'd be like, fuck it, I might as well do it. And then like just do what I want to do in my own spare time,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, if the airlines try and mandate the jab, then I won't be able to come back. But I don't think Biden's going to get away with it. He's trying to do it through OSHA, but yeah, fuck it. All that it's all gonna. I'm not so bothered about that at the moment. It is what it is.
That's good. And to go in line with the title of the video or the talk here, that's pretty much life, right? And the zeitgeist is the life as of the reality in the physical sense, and we have the free will choice whether or not to buy into it, to add to it, or to just try to deal with it and live our lives and change it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's a dead bee on my Nag Hammadi. Oh, tie that up later.
Bee?
Yeah, a dead bee. Or it might have been a dead fly. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I'll clean it up later. Yeah, well, this is what I was starting to realize. Just because technology has advanced since after the Industrial Revolution, and we have these computers now. I mean, it's great we have technology that allows you and I to communicate like this from across the world. But I don't really see any progress for humanity through history. There's kind of like really progress really only happens on an individual basis, doesn't it? With spiritual development.
Correct.
And in this zeitgeist, I've noticed like some atheists that I watch on YouTube are starting to realize like, oh shit, if you take God out of the equation, then the state tries to move in where that missing archetype is, where that void is created. So
Yes,
it's kind of,
wherever a vacuum is created, something is there to plug it up. Correct.
yeah, no, nature always fills the void, doesn't it? Certainly
Mhm.
does. I mean, even the void of Sophia is filled with the cosmos. So yeah, very interesting. But yeah, man, I mean, how you doing, Steve?
Well, still breathing and farting and fishing and working.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my four uh, everyday activities lately.
Are you fishing on a daily?
Well, I try to this time of year because the muskies are, you know, set to start biting here soon.
Mm. It's good season for it, is it?
Yeah, when the water changes, it's quite thrilling catching a big fish like that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I love fish.
Do you eat them or do you throw them back?
I release the big fish, or I'll eat crappies and or panfish, sunfish, the
Mm.
smaller fish. I'll eat those if they're out of the right lake, because
Right.
we have to worry about like 3M and their pollution around here. So
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting.
on that note, so recently I've been thinking, what is a successful life? What is a life well lived? You know, I know it's incumbent upon what you deem as value or valuable in life
Mm.
and whatnot, but I mean, what is your opinion on and you don't have to get all, the reason why we're here. I'm
Yeah.
saying, from a perspective or a perceptive level, what, in your opinion, is a successful life or a well-lived life?
Well, it's an interesting question. It's like you said, value and success are definitely subjective to the individual. But I also think the more knowledge and wisdom you have, the more your definition of success is like changed. It's not a fixed thing. Do you see what I mean? Because what I thought success was when I was 18,
Right, right.
even what I
Good point.
thought, even what I thought like success was, yeah, it's like the whole social programming. It's like, oh, you need to, all right, you're going to go to law school, you need to take these classes, you need this many college credits, then you need to, do your bar exam, and then you'll be a lawyer. It's kind of a bit, there's a lot of societal programming in that. And I think a lot of people they kind of get trapped in that. They get trapped in this, they spend loads of time training for a career. And then, work is work. It's heavy and it can suck, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we chase.
I mean, to answer your question fully, I'd say that, oh man, from my opinion or from my perspective, um, I was actually thinking about this the other day. Even though I've got no car, no job, no money, like I got nothing at the moment. I'd be like destitute if I didn't have family here. I still consider like my life up till now at the age of 33 a great success, just because somehow I have knowledge of, things beyond the physical realm, but not like new age bullshit and new age wacko stuff, like genuine wisdom and knowledge of um like true life, immortal life and spirit. So yeah, I kind of deem that a success. But like I said, like in terms of like having a big house, flash car, um, loads of assets, etc. I don't really care about that, to be honest.
Oh, we got me wanting to join. Can you hear me?
Mm. Yeah, yeah, loud and clear. Yeah, Piccolo's son says a life where you learn and don't die. I mean, to learn is really the whole point of it, isn't it?
Do you hear the? Whoa. All right. How do I leave here?
Mute that shit, Steve. Oh, you done it. That was intense. Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, you got it. You're on mute now, aren't you? Yeah, I can't hear you now. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted, Steve. Your mic's off. There we go.
But it's going to do this now.
Still got feedback issues. Is your YouTube muted? Have you got the live stream up? Oh, you got two participants. Yeah, one needs to quit.
I'm working on that. Sorry.
Yeah, so success. Yeah, what have we got in the chat? Genocide is in full effect. Yeah, well, I wonder what Piccolo's son means by that. Does he want to elaborate? A life where you learn and don't die. Does he mean like ascension, as in like you're not like in the lake of fire kind of thing? I apologize on Steve's behalf, as we've got technical difficulties with his audio. He's left the chat. He's left the Skype session. He'll be back. Yeah, we were just discussing success. Jeffrey Bale, to have wisdom. Ironically, he's talking about flat Earth. You're back, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's bad. It's all messed up. The audio still.
How about now?
No, the audio's all. Just try turning it off and on again. Your audio.
How about now?
No, might have to unplug the microphone and plug it back in.
Now?
No. But yeah. Yeah, that sound is intense. Absolutely.
How about now?
No. The more you learn, you'll eventually learn how to live and not die. Yeah, that's an interesting comment. Yeah, Mechanical Elves says you need headphones, Steve.
I don't have any. I don't have any.
Is it on your end or is it on my end? It's on your end, isn't it? I was just no dice, I'm afraid.
What the hell?
We're under a cyber attack. I'm Skynet.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound like one of the Daleks from the old school Doctor Who.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you say exterminate in a high pitched voice?
Exterminate!
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it sound good now? Hello? Oh my god.
I wonder if we're gonna have to end the stream and come back.
Alright, bro.
All right, cool. Hello, Steve. You're muted. Are you there? Can you unmute? Am I still live on YouTube? I don't think I am. Oh, this is frustrating. Oh shit, I'm still here. Okay, well, in that case, yeah, hopefully Steve can come back. That was a bit weird though. So yeah, Steve was basically saying what is success? What is a successful life? And personally, I think that is knowledge of divinity, to discover knowledge of divinity, and I guess true wisdom. And well, wisdom, true wisdom. I guess wisdom is true wisdom. Because if it's not true wisdom, then it's not really prudent, is it? But yeah, I definitely think that amassing, I guess it's really to learn though, learn what you need to learn. And I do feel that like a lot of souls are like falling further and further into the realm of matter. So yeah, who's in the chat? So I've usurped his channel here. So yeah, spiritual development. Interestingly enough, my sister's been telling me that she started practicing Kundalini yoga, and Phil was saying that it's not Kundalini yoga if it doesn't induce samadhi, which kind of makes sense. But yeah, no, my sister's very, you really understand what we need to do on earth, but it takes learning to figure it out. Yeah, it does. It does. I think as well, Piccolo-san, it does take like suffering as well. Like for example, every temporal endeavor that I have set my heart on and tried and attempted has always just turned to shit. And I know that might sound like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it just, yeah, any temporal goals I have, they seem impossible for me to attain. They just kind of like, I'll attain what it is that I want, then it will just slip through my fingers like sand, in a temporal sense, in a materialistic sense. However, with, I guess, my spiritual development, it's gone totally the opposite direction. It seems to be ever evolving and improving and learning to the point where I can read these, well, I can read these Nag Hammadi scriptures and understand what the hell they're saying. To a degree, though, to a degree. It's still a work in progress. But yeah, these books are very interesting. All right, Steve's just messaged me. He's told me to stay in Zoom and stay in the chat. I think he's going to come back in. We are supposed to make the planet look like Avatar, that movie. To do it is the same process that makes us not die. You mean like heaven on earth, Piccolo? Yeah, it's interesting because like the more to grow stronger as we help the planet grow stronger. I'm convinced the more this technological revolution goes on, the more this technology seems to be enslaving humankind. That's what I'm kind of getting from it. The internet came, it was great, it was very free when it first came. Now everyone's being tracked and monitored. Oh, he's back. You're muted, Steve.
What a joke.
At least I can hear you now.
Jeez. Are we still on YouTube?
Yeah, I've still been on the stream.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, I've been engaging with Piccolo-san's posts in the chat. He says that we have to make the Earth like the planet in the film Avatar.
Yep, I would agree.
But it's
because I think that happens if we are in harmony with it. Right?
But you can't really negate human nature, though, can you? They're unfortunately that's. I don't see that happening anytime soon. It's like I said, I'm not seeing any progress for humanity in the age of the Kali Yuga at all. I'm seeing technological progress, but I mean, you just like look at what's going on in the world. I mean, this is I know we kind of wanted to avoid the topic of the zeitgeist, but this is definitely the most grotesque one and the most invasive one I've seen. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if I was alive,
How
and
many
Stalin-
how many have you seen?
well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I wasn't alive in Stalinist Russia or Pharaoh's Egypt or, you know, Hitler's
Precisely.
National Socialism. So I don't really have a point of reference. But yeah,
I
Yeah,
think
see-
since time immemorial, I mean, way back when, ancient, you know, 20,000, maybe even 30,000. This is all, you know, nothing new under the sun, and that's, you know, I don't know, a blanket statement or a cliche thing to say, I suppose. But you know, if everything is one moment, dude, think about that.
what do you
That's
mean
what-
by what do you mean by everything is one moment?
Because if everything is one, t equals zero. You know, the moment.
Yeah, t equals 0, t equals infinity. Really, t
Well,
equals 1.
time equals zero state. You know, the moment
Yeah.
of the bang.
It's interesting because Terence McKenna talked about that, didn't he? Time wave zero, where it was like, and you know, we're like in this age where like there's so much like novelty and there's so much like energy around to tap into at the moment in this time. Like, you know, the knowledge that we've amassed, you know, how many books and pilgrimages would you have had to have gone on in the past to like kind of find that kind of thing? I don't know. It's all it's all at your fingertips today, isn't it?
Yes, and it allows for divine timing or synchronicity to take its place on a more regular basis. I assume, you know, and that's, I know no other way except for the way I've learned from this life, or presumably, but you know what I'm getting at, don't you? You know,
Say that again. Sorry, Steve.
what, were you reading something?
Yeah, I was reading the chat. I was kind of half, in all honesty, I didn't quite catch what you said.
Well,
I'm going to ignore the chat.
I was in a nutshell saying I only can speak from experience of this life, presumably, you know, but, you know, inherently, I think we carry over some of our, I don't know what you want to call it, mojo, swazi,
Karma.
or karma, yeah, or persona, you know, because I don't know if those are intertwined, but I think we carry our essence of what we, you know, because I think our essence is what we've come to know and understand, not just know, because you can know things but not understand them. And that is from lack of experience. And, you know, I know a lot. I don't understand as much as I know.
Well, that's why it's called Kabbalah, isn't it? Because it means reception, and reception pertains to experiential knowledge. You know, don't feel bad about it though, man. Because
well, I don't feel bad about it. I'm just saying that.
Well, I was going to say,
you know, this therein lies the crux of it all. Do we carry our essence from previous existences as our base? You know, like when you go to mix a gallon of paint, you get your base color. You know, whether it's flat, whatever. You know, and then you add other colors to get, or other ingredients to get to the thing you want. Now, some of us may have, you know, how many ingredients? I don't know. But is that our essence, do you think? You know, prior knowledge or prior learned knowledge or prior understood knowledge.
Yeah, see, I guess that our actual I guess like our spirit is the timeless portion of our essence, and our soul is the part of our essence that is in time. So there's got to be a connection between the two of them, which is really like the birthing point, isn't it? The birth canal from the womb. you know.
From womb
Yeah.
to the womb, yes. From the literal womb to the matrix womb, back to the womb of God.
But even though, like, we're all born of parents on the earth plane, despite that, it does, to me, it still does feel like my own consciousness is kind of self-generated. I know, like, my body was born and my body's going to seat my soul, etc. But I'm sure consciousness is like a self-generated thing, you know. And I think I said this to you in a chat the other day, how, like, you know, I think a lot of the things that physicists are looking at in a materialistic sense, the solution to a lot of their equations is just like it's consciousness. It's like in that film, Inception, when they're creating worlds, all they need to do it is their consciousness and their imagination. They don't need anything more. They don't need to be writing these scripts of computer syntax and stuff in some programming language. That's only a replica of it, you know. But
That whole scenario was played out on Tron as well. You remember Tron?
Tron, I've never actually seen Tron. I hate to admit it.
Oh, it's a sweet movie, dude.
Yeah, no, it is quite legendary. All I know is the Tron guy from YouTube.
It gets your blood going, and you know it's one of those zero to hero movies or hero to zero to hero. You know.
Yeah.
Just like the Terminator.
There's an interestingly, the topic we're talking, the page I'm on here actually talks about what we're talking about. So this is the first stele of Seth. So what does Seth mean again?
Anointing.
Right, anointing. Okay. So it says, I'll read it out. I praise you, Father Pyadamas, kind of like Pyamanders. It's Piger. Well, it's got the name Adam, Adamas. Piger Adamas, like Pigeradamas. Praise you, Father Pygadamas. I, your son, Emacha Seth, like the girl's name Emma, and CHA on the end. I don't know what Emacha means. Shall I look it up?
Yeah, go to etymologydictionary.com and look it up. Is that what you look words up on?
I just put whatever in Hebrew, and this one website comes up. Emacha. Oh yeah, you got to put name meaning, not just. Behind the name.
Sucks, this piece of crap laptop I have. Just bites.
I'm not finding it, but so I'll just move on. I, your son, Emacha Set, so something anointed, whom you have endangered. No, whom you have engendered without procreation, for the praise of our God. There you are. There's a successful life.
That's the there you go. That's the virgin birth from, or the birth of the light from the Virgin Mary.
Yeah. Who without
anybody can be the Virgin Mary.
But is that so like what? So the point of that, the point of existence then is to essentially praise the truth and praise God. Not in a kind of like weird way, but like
well, anyway is a good way if you're
I guess it's
not in kind, right? It doesn't matter like, when you're doing it.
Well, like you praise it through discovery. It's like that aha moment. It's like a revelation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like get over there and praise me. Like do it not in an authoritarian sense. Like quite the opposite.
True that. Well, it's like Yvonne said, the being fearful of the Lord is actually the process of getting rid of your ego, or the process of turning the light on, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's
Yeah.
how she explained it.
Mm.
And we know we are all, in essence, in fear of the Lord, if the Lord is the light, right?
Yeah, I'm not in fear of the Lord, so to speak. I'm more in fear of
Well, to me, the fear of the Lord
the
is a fear of death, the fear of
yeah,
creation. Yeah,
the wheel of death and rebirth. I was just
yeah.
about to say, and you said the fear of death. Well, I mean, like that's how people are. The public is controlled with fear,
Yes.
mainly the primordial fear of death. You know,
Mhm.
virus that can kill you. Do what we say so we can keep you alive. It's
Exactly.
fucking bollocks, the whole thing. Sorry, I don't want to. I don't want to be bad mouthing on your channel.
Well, I just you can do all the griping you want. Just hold the swearing.
Yeah, yeah. No, sorry. I've got quite a potty mouth, as they say in America. So it
I
goes
apologize.
on. Right, he says,
I'm not innocent.
He says, I am your son, and you are my mind, O my father. I have sown and procreated, but you have seen majestic things and have endlessly stood at rest. You know when you wake up in the morning, Steve, and you don't want to get up, and you decide you're not going to get up, and you just like rest there, that blissful feeling.
Mhm.
Never experienced that. Like
Oh yeah. Yep.
more so at the weekend, I guess, when you haven't got to get up for work. But
Right. Isn't it funny how the blissful or the Sabbath or the day of rest is on Sunday, the seventh day, which is the mentalism of the Hermetic loop or Hermetic principles. You know, mentalism is the moment of aha, the
you know,
light,
it's interesting you say that because it's the
and
first.
the day of rest is blissful nothingness, right?
Yeah, yeah, but it's interesting you said mentalism because the first is the last, obviously. The sixth and the seventh are intertwined, the seals, that is. But what was I going to say? God, I had a point on this.
The
But
sixth
like,
would
yeah,
be the
this is
pinnacle of
what
us, right?
to activate the seventh seal or to initiate that process, you've got to have to you're going to have to be like, all right, I'm going to do the great work. You have to make a purposeful mental decision to embark on that. There's a good comment here actually from Free Press 666. He says, "Immortality knows mortals fears." It's a very interesting statement, that is.
Well, isn't that just like duality in essence is opposites attract in a dualistic physical sense, where in a spiritual sense, like attracts like, you know, and that's something that sticks out quite plainly to me, because with dark you got light, with night you got day, with black you got white, and everything needs its contrast, otherwise it would not be definable. And I think that's what we are as fallen from our true state, is the contrast to what we truly are. And
Yeah.
that is how you make the comparisons and build your pyramid from the clay you receive throughout your life. The clay is your information, or your what you surround your mind with. And to get back to your thing, when you were saying consciousness is a self-generated thing, I'd have to totally disagree with that, as far as the collective consciousness, because I think we can all individualize our consciousness, but we can't own something that isn't ownable. To me, the consciousness that we all are part of or receive is just that. We receive it, we just interpret it differently through different eyes, that through whatever experiences you had, interpret that same consciousness differently. So then we're gonna see things, vaguely the same, but, individualized. And that's where I think we lose our grasp on what we truly add to it and how we can be part of it without trying to control it. Because when you try to control egoistically, it comes back and it bites you. And I think that's what's going on in the world as a whole today.
So I said, though, it's not even like just the world. It's like any attempt I make to control my temporal life, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And like I said to you, I see like this video, this ad came up the other day, Steve. It said the spiritual, it was like some Indian, very well produced ad on YouTube. And it was like the spirituality of success. It's like, you don't have the money you want. You don't have the house you want. You don't have the car you want. You don't have the wife you want or the husband you want, whatever. and like, I'm going, hold on. Like,
and then the person selling what you want is telling you what you need.
I'm just like, hold on. This seems, I don't know. I suck in this system of temporal governance that we live in. Government's going to get very limited tax money off me, I'm afraid. So, but yeah, fuck them. But anyway, back to see, this is where I'm just getting to the line. It says, I am your son and you are my mind, O Father. I have sown and procreated, but you have seen majestic things and have endlessly stood at rest. I mean, like, oh yeah, that sounds just so great to me. The idea of endless eternal rest, like divine rest. He says, this is it. I praise you, Father. Praise me, Father. Because of you, I exist. Because of God, you exist. Because of you, I exist in the presence of that one. You are the light and see light. You have revealed light. And then it says, you are Mirathai. You are my Mirotheos. I praise you as God. I praise your divinity. That kind of answered your question on self-generation of consciousness, or what you said about self-generation of consciousness there.
Mm-hmm.
I praise you, Father.
I think that's the I think that's why I was alluding to the duality of physicality, because inherently you see in the dualistic physical sense that we need the opposite in order to procreate and to progress or to live on in an entropic system that we are. Because otherwise, like Thatha Man has said to me in the past, he says, sure, you live eternally, but through your lineage or your seed. And I think that is true in a sense, as far as the physical sense, but there is, I'm sure plenty of me to go around as far as my, seed and my potential to reproduce the cosmic seed. And I wonder if one who has reproduced this seed of, the light of the world, that's John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, for he who shall believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, that to me used to say to me, something was weird, something was off, or how can this be? And, and what does that matter to me? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? But now I see it as it fits like a glove to everything else. And when you start looking into everything in your life, everything just keeps adding up to the one thing over and over and over again. And this is the reason why this dualistic system is pulling us in the direction it is, because it's correction, self-correction. And if it's a self, the tree archetype is the ultimate archetype because it produces what it grows in and what it grows from, the seed and the dirt.
God, Babylonian Correctional Services. That's where we're all at.
Well, yeah, but you can think of it that way.
I'm being quiet.
I don't see it that way at all.
No, I'm being. I don't know what the word. I'm being cheeky, and I'm kind of
being facetious.
Facetious. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, I am being facetious. But on the whole duality thing, I'm starting to go, okay, yeah, of course you have duality, polarity, but I'm starting to think. Whenever I think about duality now, I'm trying to think of rather a threefold system than a twofold system. Because I've got, X over here, it's opposite Y over here, but then there's the 0 point of reconciliation in between the two. So really, yes, there is duality, but there's always that third rail, isn't there? There's always a reconciliation point between two opposites where there's a crossover. There must be. There can't not be. You got left, right, straight, up, down, forward.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's vector equilibrium, right?
Yeah, there's still the point of equilibrium in that. And that point of equilibrium really is the point of divinity and rest, because it's not moving. Yeah.
I can pull out Bible verse after Bible verse that fits the narrative of what we're talking about. And to be honest with you, I've never read it cover to cover. Yet a lot of the things you hear in the Bible, like be still and know thyself, if you just take that at face value, what did you just say? It fits.
Was it Psalm 17? Be still and know that, or Psalm, I can't remember what. Be still and know that I am the Lord.
Yes.
I guess
phrased in many different ways in many different types of Bibles, and and I think the first step to just get over the confusion of what the written word or the Gospels are is to not look at it through a literal mindset or a literal five senses type vision, and look at it from a aspect of everything that's talked about in the Bible is within you. Like the names of the Bible are aspects of your journey before finding your true self, God. Your true self is my true self. That's how we are all connected through the one. And the beautiful thing is you start realizing these things, these missing links in physics are the moments in which things transgress or transmute. They must be that.
Well, of course. It's like the madness that's going on in the world at the moment. It's like honestly, I see no progress for humanity in Kali Yuga. I only see progress for the individual. I really do. And I'm sure, like post the Enlightenment, the 17th century, when the peasants figured out they had inalienable rights given to them from God, or from that which is transcendent. I'm sure ever since people discovered that, there's been a movement to get rid of that, we're not going to go down this route, are we? So
down what route?
Me babbling on about Babylon.
No, I'm not telling you where to go, brother. I'm listening, and I am in total agreement when, and I just went through the ebb and now I'm on the flow. And this is what we need to understand that which is controllable. You know,
Yeah.
when we feel the pull, we must remember the push, and vice versa. You know, what did Bruce Lee say? Be water. You know, why did he say that? Because when it fills a
Man.
tea kettle, it becomes the tea kettle. When it fills a glass, it becomes a glass. It's
I can't be water, Steve, man.
transmutable. It's bendable, malleable. You know,
Mm,
and what does that bring you in the end? It brings you, you know, more solace, and
mm,
solace is everything, I think. For
mm.
if we bicker amongst ourselves in our own heads, then we're going to bicker with the world, and we're going to, you know. So if we consider how to change the world, we must change the way we feel about the world first.
Yeah,
And
it's interesting on that point, because it's like, I don't know, what was it, Swami Vivekananda, like refused, was it Swami Vivekananda, who was like didn't want to take a wife. He was like, no, fuck this, I'm out of here.
right.
You know, I mean, is that doing service to the world? Because it's like, as well, be in the world but not of the world.
Yes, Need to Know I had mentioned that earlier, and Mechanical Elf says there cannot be good without bad. Correct. We don't understand causality, so who's to say? And then Need to Know, you all ask your family doctors if they had the jab. Most won't, don't have to, and we're not given notice if they speak.
I'm never, Steve, I am never taking that goddamn jab. Just, I hate, sorry, I shouldn't say that on your channel.
I don't, I'm neither here or for. I'm just, to me, it's just when things are so blatantly covered up on one level and pushed on another, and it's just, you just got to step back and say, hey, what's going on? You know, but I'm not
Why
saying
is it okay?
we're good.
Going back to your original topic of discussion, you know, what is success, spiritual development?
Spiritual development.
Why is it that some people are able to see the schemes of the ignorant and the evil here? It's just really obvious. Yeah, others, they have no idea. It's all very real.
That's what I mean about your essence. Is that what the Akashic record is about? Is that what the electromotive resonant frequency force is about? You know, do you carry that through lifetime after lifetime? Does it change, or does it accumulate like everything else in our system? Because
Yeah, but my point is, I don't understand why.
that's what I'm getting at, is that accumulation throughout life. Maybe we are hip to it or opened up to it, because I mean, like I said to you, you're 33 and way ahead of the curve as far as a spiritual essence or esoteric yearning to know is concerned. Because what, isn't it odd that the sun is like our psyche, or like our lifetime, you know, and there's like the riddle of the Sphinx, you know, there's the baby, you know, what is that, you know, whatever. To get to my point, the essence that we carry through our life, is that why we, you know, are more apt to see things or awoke or sooner? I'm not saying it makes anybody any better than another, but is that the reason?
I don't know. This is the thing. It's a mystery to me. I can speculate. I mean,
Did you watch Phil's most recent video?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did you catch what he said about, you know, the accumulation of things and whatnot in the cosmos? But then he went on to say about, you know, once you become illuminated, you don't have to choose to come back. And he said the word choose. So what does that say to you? If you choose to come back after that, you're not going to be aware unless you do it again. So
also to add to that, Steve, I do think the more one's spiritual development increases, the more you start to see through the facade of the material world. Not like as in literally reality itself. I'm looking at my lighter going, oh, this lighter's a facade. I mean, in as much as in like the geopolitical sphere, etc. It's all a facade. I mean, fucking hell. How many years ago people didn't have to bother with this? Like, you know, people didn't have information and data overload in the past like we have to deal with now. I think it's quite debilitating to the psyche to know every little thing that's going on in every corner of the world all the time, every day, non-stop, blah blah blah. It's just the data overload. You know, whether that's, I'm sure Bertrand Russell talked about deliberately doing that. Interestingly enough, when I was questioning matter with this lighter actually has the pyramids. It's a clipper with the pyramids on it. How funny is that? See?
Well, pyramid fire in the middle.
Pyramid.
Nice.
I saw that in the shop. I said to the Indian guy, give me that one with the pyramids on. But yeah, very interesting. Yeah, the riddle of the Sphinx, hey, God.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that just represents. And then, okay, like I said, you were ahead of the curve at 33, you know, and that's kind of an odd number because 33 is the vertebra and, you know, the top of the Kundalini experience when the light turns on in the pineal gland.
That's just chance, though. That's just that's. I mean, the fact I'm 33 is really inconsequential.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's why I said it was a weird age to be.
Oh, right.
You know, you're 10 years ahead of my progress as far as being turned off to the cars, stars, and bars, or being switched off in the process of switched off to the cars, stars, and bars than I was. Now, when you look at the sun, as far as, you know, the sunrise, high noon, and sunset, and sunset is, you know, 45 and older, you know, and that's where typically when you're setting is when you stop as a human and you say, wait a minute, this ain't working. Why the fuck are we here? You know, and that's the anointing moment when you start anointing yourself with knowing or looking for the truth. And, you know, everything that you're going to look for, if it fits your belief system, it's going to be truth. So you're going to find the truth and you're going to be stuck in that belief, which is truth. But if you keep looking for truth, because truth is ever changing, truth is not the same to each individual in the context of experience and a tangible definition, you know what I mean? That's because for one to say a color is this is another color to another eye, you know, and whatnot. It's like the whole eyewitness thing. Nobody's going to see the same incident the same. Nobody. There's always going to be variations. So that in essence is why this one thing that we're talking about is so, it's everywhere, dude. I mean, it's the whole dichotomy of the dualistic principle from the singular nature to the, you know, all of it is just it all fits together like I forgot where I was going with what I was saying, and I just got off on the Fibonacci sequence in my head. But, you know, you get what I mean? Everything is just, it plugs right into it. And then when you see that this whole CV thing is just the goalposts get moved from one extreme to the other on a daily basis. The information is everywhere, you know, I mean, all over the board. Now the V's are getting it more than the un-V's and all of this other stuff. But, you know, in essence, that division that we experience in these moments of tribulation, as far as I see it this way, you see it that way, are the moments when we need to realign and realize that you have the right to do that. You have the right to believe what you want. Just don't try to force somebody else to believe it another way. Because
well, that's the beauty of a public health crisis. That's what is, and now that's
right.
You know, but on that point that you made, which was quite a detailed.
When we're dying, when we're ready to go downhill, that's set, and that's the anointing, and that's the whole connection I was trying to make with what you were saying about.
Yeah, right. 33 years old. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're 10 years ahead of that curve.
Well, interestingly, because my sister and her boyfriend, they're like a couple of new age hippies, and they're practicing Kundalini yoga, etc., like I mentioned earlier. And it's quite funny because they've been on their spiritual journey for a couple of years now. I've been on this spiritual journey for about 14, nearly 15 years now, and they don't seem to get that I'm 15. I'm say like 12 years ahead of them on this journey, but I don't really want to impose stuff onto them. I'd rather like let her find out for herself. Although when she was saying like woefully erroneous stuff to me, I was like, no, that's ridiculous. Like, I can't remember. I have some examples of it, but
we all get this trigger inside of us when we're arguing, we're digging our heels in, and not necessarily arguing, but debating a topic that you're emotionally invested in. And I think that is another point that is good to learn for spiritual development, is not to become emotionally invested in physical nature. And if you become an observer of that physicality and learn to be at peace with whatever comes your way, because we don't really truly have any say in what happens physically, except for our decisions in that physical morphism as we go.
No.
Right? So you can keep yourself safe, or you can worry about this. To me, get busy living or get busy dying is the simplest way to look at it. Why we're already born dead. Get over it already. I mean, we're all gonna die. Who gives a shit? Live while you're here and try to reproduce that everlasting gobstopper that is life, the true life.
Yeah. It's very interesting because, like, I don't know, man. I just.
It seems like our ability to respect others' opinions is what I think it is.
No, it's not that. I haven't lost my ability to respect.
No, I'm not saying you. I mean, as a society as a whole, and the bickering and the this and the that, and there is totalitarianism. I get it.
Yeah, you'd be a good guy to have around in the gulag, Steve. It keeps people's spirits up. But
but I mean, isn't that essentially what we are? Our spirits, man. I mean,
yes, like I said, Babylonian correctional services. I mean, the body is the first prison, is it not?
Right. And thought says there is no real evidence of spirit, so it's impossible for science to meet it. Science is about things that can be measured. Yes, but there is a thing that marries the two, and that's us. That's why we are Bethlehem. That's why we are the house in which, spirit rises just like a loaf of bread does.
I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that. There is evidence of spirit. If you ever watch a ball game where one team's down, I don't know, say it's basketball, say it's a 20-point game, and they're all dejected, and then something happens and they go on a comeback and they pull out this great comeback and the other team doesn't know what fucking hit them. They always say, "Oh yeah, they say that team showed great team spirit to come back from the brink." You know, I'd say that's evidence of spirit in a temporal sense. Like I have to use something physical to give an example of it. I can't just say, there has to be a point of reference, right? There has to be a physical point of reference for spirit or liberty or freedom, you know? It has to be in reference to something. Otherwise,
it goes back to the, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a noise?
squirrel hears it. Squirrel fell off, was on the tree.
Who's to say there's a freaking squirrel there? How do you know? Were you there?
I don't know. I just made it up. There might have been a squirrel. There's been some bug somewhere in the vicinity. Sure.
Or what?
I don't know. The forest isn't sterile. How much longer do you want to go on for, Steve? I can go on for a bit longer if you want.
Yeah, I'll talk for a little longer. I mean, it's been a while, and I finally got the technical issues over with. I mean, and I'm.
Did you have dinner yet, or have you still got to do that?
No, I already had dinner.
All right. Okay. Let me just go and finish my cigarette quickly. I'll be right back. But yeah, one sec.
Yeah, I wanted to say, hey, everybody, what's up, Thoth? Glad you could join us. Yes, of course it does. It produces a sound wave. What are you guys talking about? Schizzos can move chairs, tables, knives, flying. But I want to say hi to Maya L, Free Press 666. Need to know what's up, brother. Thoth and Aman, Mr. Menza, Piccolo's son, Saturnarian's son. You know, I appreciate you guys coming and joining in the discussion, because every one of your guys' viewpoints brings me more ammunition for discussion and just thought process. And I think that's a good thing. So I like to surround myself with people I don't necessarily totally agree with. I'll surround myself with anybody that has a viewpoint that is opposite to mine, as long as they're respectful to me. You know, and that's all that we can hope for in life. And that's all we should expect. We shouldn't even expect that out of anybody. We should just respect people, period, without expectation. I think when we start trying to get a reward for our behaviors in life, we become like the proverbial silver spoon child, or the single child that has gotten everything they wanted in life. And I think that when we expect things for giving things, then it's from the ego. So just try to help no matter what, like you would want to be helped in any situation.
Yeah, you can't help those that don't want help, though. You know, God, what's the expression? God helps those who help themselves. I really do believe that's, well, I know that's true from my own experience. Because, you know, when I was young and foolish and naive and thought I knew everything, I always rejected people's help. And, you know, that's really a consequence of ego, isn't it?
Yeah, and I look back recently, just now, just having this discussion with you, thinking about how I'd feel when I'd be going through the YouTube algorithm and see channels that I started right around they started, and you know, they got 100,000 subs, and they got this, they got that, you know, and that's the whole one of the 10 commandments, you know, thou shalt not cover thy neighbor's wife or neighbor's things, or you know, and all of that nonsense. Now you can think it's nonsense, but if you live in a pious, self-venerable way, you know, meaning that if you just treat yourself right with dignity, respect, and you treat everybody around you that way, it's going to come back threefold. And once that starts happening, then it makes it easier and easier in your day-to-day life, right? When you walk around with this whole, whoa, the whole Rosie on the Jetsons when she lost her boyfriend, when she's going, I don't know. That always comes up when I think of disappointment or heartbreak, is that episode of the Jetsons. But anyway, when you start walking around with the half empty, my cup's half empty type attitude, it's going to reciprocate. And it's going to just keep flying onto you that way. And that's what's going on.
I find it very, I find it very, I feel like there's a rhythm to my attitude towards life. Sometimes I'm like, this is crap. What's the point? I don't care. I become nihilistic. And then other times I find myself motivated, Maybe I just need more magnesium or something like that. But I don't know, man. It's very interesting. But
yeah, you guys are talking about exorcisms and possession and stuff like that. And I think if you let your thoughts get away from you without a good base, because I think each one of us has this malleable gray matter, right? Is it gray matter, our brain, because it's in between black and white? There's another interesting little tidbit, but I mean, we all have this malleable computer in our heads, and through experience and upbringing, we act a certain way. Right? And when we are at that moment of, why the hell are we here? And that's what the ego is for. It's to bring us to that point. And then we have to tell the devil to get in the back seat, our ego. That it doesn't mean to get rid of your ego. I've learned recently that ego is a good thing if you just learn to use it, not for manipulative purposes, but
that's another new age thing, isn't it? They're obsessed. There's this obsession that the ego is bad, but it's, as we've discussed many times, you kind of need it to a degree in the early part of life, especially because if you've got like no ego when you're a school kid, other kids are going to pick on you and bully you. And I agree with what Saturnian Sun says. Ego gets a bad rep. Like that's,
build your house on a rock, but don't plant seeds in a rock. Right. And that's the whole parable of what's that parable in the Bible where the seeds get scattered about, and some go in between rocks and some, go in good soil, and some get good roots, but not enough water. And, and that just shows you that the physical nature or this life is indifferent for everything that we encounter. This life is indifferent as far as it has no favorites. It has no nothing against you. It just is. It is what it is. And there's consequences to our, there's cause and effect in our daily life, in the rhythm of life. So when we put out the perfect cause, we'll get in return the perfect effect, and vice versa, and it's cliche to say this, but when you're in resonance with somebody or something, it feels like you're connected to it, right? So how does one become in resonance with the right way? And why is it the right way and not the left way? I don't know. Ain't nothing right about me. I'm all that's left. No.
I guess it's really about staying in rhythm with Dharma or natural law. I really,
religion, in its definition, is something to bring you to understanding spirituality.
It's like, if you think about like Kali, if you think about it in terms of the Kali Yuga, you know, that the psychopathic control system is really the Dharma of our age. Unfortunately, as tough as that is, but really, was it you who said this to me, Steve? Like, incarnate a soul incarnating in the Kali Yuga in this time has the greatest potential for transformation. Did you say that to me?
I think we came to that conclusion because the one who struggles and toils the utmost is the one who is closest to liberation. Because do we ever ask for God's help when we're happy, when we're joyous, when we're getting everything we want? Hell no. We're only asking for God when we're puking our guts out, or we're about to die, or we're in an airplane that's running out of fuel, or, you know, when we're at our lowest possible wit's end with life. And, you know, so therefore, by odds, strict odds, you're asking for God's help more when you're struggling. So, you know, duh, because God is not somebody or something that's going to come down from the heavens. He's in all of us. It's in all of us. I don't even want to say he or it, or, you know, it's ineffable spirit is within all of us. It is the all spark that transformers more than meets the eye. You know, all of these movies in Hollywood, they all, you know, if you really get down to it and you ask yourself, it's like all of the nursery rhymes, you know, they're just saying the same thing, just in a different way.
Yeah, the nursery rhymes are very strange, actually. They're very esoteric.
Yes, every one of them. Every one of them. You know, and we used to say this when we were younger, 777, why are 7 so, you know, and then we would just go on with our life after having the thought, this fleeting moment of why is 7 so important? You know, when it's everywhere. Because it is everything. It's the loop, the accumulation loop of the 7 hermetic principles, you know. And it starts somewhere. It has to start somewhere. Has to start somehow. And where is
God
that?
knows. God knows why I want to move back to America, Steve. I have no idea why I want it. I really don't. Don't know. There's a lot of things in my life I don't know why. But I guess, I don't know, I might as well just be humble about it rather than, Tim Cameron's in the house, my old friend. Yeah, how's going on, Tim? Long
What's up,
time.
Tim? What is, they're talking about nobody's coming for you. And the more advanced and safer the nation, the less religious it is. Yes. And there's a perfect point right there. It's like, as we fall away from our true estate or true good God-filled nature, we get closer to technological advancement and vice versa. And isn't that how the T=0 state is achieved through squaring the circle, or through the finite, the infinity dwells to recreate infinity through a finite set of circumstances. Now that's the question I've been asking myself, and next time I have Phil on, I'm gonna really put it to him and get, okay, so I understand the concept, but what is the mechanism in which the light recreates? And how does that mesh together? Or is there a way to even articulate the process there? Or is it that process just on a different level? Because everything, like Russell, what's his name? I forget his
yeah, not
Walter Russell.
Walter Russell, not fucking Bertrand Russell. He was evil, but God.
Yeah. Walter Russell, all is process. Everything is process. And that's what the gist of it is the process itself is what keeps it all going. The process is the process for everything, and that's how duality is born, through that process. You know, and that process is our 0 to hero journey in our contextual, labelistic, egoistic, physical world. You know, and how would you personify, or how would you tell a story of creation as extreme and as it is, being that the light is born through us, the micro of the macro, which becomes everything. I mean, how would you explain that? Would you put a bunch of names to these aspects?
That's that's what all the scriptures have attempted to do,
Yes.
and yeah. See, Piccolo's son's just weighed in saying the process you're talking about is the formation of God. I'd agree with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
I really would, because it talks about that here in these stills of Seth. Yes, it's like I just saw it. Great is the good self-generated one who stood, the God who was first to stand at rest. You came in goodness, you appeared, and you revealed goodness. I shall utter your name, for you are a primary name. You are unborn. You have appeared to reveal eternal things. You are the one who is. So you have revealed those who really are. So yeah, that's pretty much what Piccolo's son is alluding to there. I don't know if he's got any, if he can add to that. It's interesting because see, Saturnian's son is talking about like only one true law, and I've come to the conclusion that the cosmos is lawless. The Barbello or Babylon is a realm of lawlessness, and it's up to us as individuals to find the law, and the logos is the law, God is the law, as we've explored in the past, and that's maybe because that's what I still think. Even though the Constitution in America has been ignored pretty much since the day it was written, I still think the idea is a very good idea. Maybe that's why I'm going to go back.
Well, that idea is it's etched in every American's being. It just is, and that's how tyrants will be handled in the end, because it'll be like the tree that doesn't bend in the wind in a storm. It's going to break under its own pressure, because if you're not willing to bend or to accept others' viewpoints, or to utterly commit falsehoods just to attain riches or money or whatever the case may be, is against natural law, and that will be handled in its due course. And I'm not saying that you have to sit idly by and ignore it, because I think each and every one of us, by having these conversations, spreads at least the. I wonder why everybody's talking about it. At least that thought will enter somebody's head, and if enough people's heads are entered, then it will change. But I think if we propagate the nonsense of just guessing what this or that is without knowing, or just spreading false beliefs, or whatever the belief is, without knowing, then we are just as guilty as the person that propagated it in the first place. So short, sweet way of summing that all up is, just learn to love life and preach what you or practice what you preach. Walk the walk.
No, absolutely. Fear not evil, because
smile in life.
Right? If you really do think about evil and the nature of evil, evil is still a transitory state. It's it doesn't really actually have any real. It's not eternally extant, is it? Evil. It's a transient state that we have to go through in order to kind of learn, because this is what I said to you the other week, dude. I still think that psychopathy and evil is a very good teacher. You gain great wisdom from having to deal with the nonsense in the world, because it allows you to kind of pierce through the veil, so to speak, in as much you're like, right, this is not the real true reality, because this is just too much nonsense and craziness going on here. It
The
can't be
craziness
real.
is the craziness is a direct consequence of the entropy of an age system. That's just what happens. In every society that has lasted 2,000 years, it always has some sort of unrest, chaos ensues, and all of a sudden they're gone.
Yeah.
Why haven't the ancient Egyptians been here till now? They were the longest lived, so-called longest lived society, but who knows? Or developed society or whatever. Who knows about all that? But my point is why are there these civilizations throughout our existence in our ancient past? And it's not really ancient, but just recent past, and not one of them is surviving in our modern era in the way that we think it is, or we would think we would be or want to be in the future. So what is going to set us apart from that inevitable ebb and flow of reality?
It says here, Psalm 35, 7 and 8. For without cause they have hid their net for me in a pit, which without cause they have dug for my soul. Let destruction come upon him unawares, and let the net which he hath hidden catch himself. Into that very destruction let him fall. So, it goes back. People are basically digging their own graves or making their own bed that they're going to have to lie in. It's just...
I did an experiment recently.
Go on.
When you're watching YouTube, do you have your history of your watch history turned on or off?
I sometimes go and I just go. Sometimes I go and explore my watch history. Yeah, I don't have it.
I had it off. I had it off for the last 3 years. It was off. My watch history.
You've just discovered your search history on YouTube.
No,
your watch history.
I did not. My watch history. Yeah, I don't. I put my search history on pause all the time because whatever. But I mean, my watch history on YouTube has been shut off. So I would only get recommendations from my people that I was sub to. You know what I mean?
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah. Otherwise, your watch history, if you watch a certain type of information, that's all that inundates your page with it.
Right. Yes. If you start watching,
so you get stuck in an echo. You get stuck in an echo chamber.
Yeah. If you start watching, say, NFL videos, then all these NFL videos pop up. Yeah. Right. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. So recently, I just turned it back on, and I've consciously now, every time I go to watch something, I'm asking myself in my head, what will this do to my watch history? Now, this is an experiment or just my twisted way of thinking of how reality works. What you go and let in the door is what reciprocates in the house and then eventually leaves through the back door or the front door. Meaning that if I continue to watch this sort of stuff, it's going to propagate in my head. It's going to feed the monster that I perceive is, make it bigger, for our thoughts, our intentions, our actions are all born from perception.
Right. Yes, right? Absolutely. No,
so
absolutely.
I'm doing this in a stupid little YouTube way just to see if I can control my watch, my wall, just by everything I watch. I'm going to make a conscious decision what it's going to do to my wall on YouTube, and I'm not applying that anywhere else in my life. I'm just saying on my watch wall, I'm going to see if I can control it just by what I let in, You understand where you follow me where I'm going with that?
Yeah, you're gonna try
In
and
essence, that's what we need to do in life, is regulate what we let in.
isn't that the phrase guarding the gates of your mind?
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah. And, you
Hmm.
know, a lot of people say God is what you believe God to be or make it. But no, God is everything that is in equilibrium with itself. And that's what we're trying to do as human beings, is become in equilibrium with our true self.
Hmm.
And that's everything. So that means that we have to understand that, you know, from this lower state, there's this higher state, but there's, you know, from knowing these two states, you can, you know, become in equilibrium with both of them and know that those two things are actually in the one and on every level, you know, like temperature, you know, words, anything, colors, anything, you
Varying
know.
degrees of the same thing, really.
Yes. Yes, and that's
Yeah.
one of the first lessons I learned in Hermeticism, and got my mind, you know, comparing dual opposites,
Hmm.
and why is there always a nay to a yay, or a yin to yang, or a dark to a light, you know, and it,
The alpha to the omega.
that's simple, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, I understand exactly what you're getting at. Yeah. Yeah. Strange. Strange. I'd say strange times we live in, but it's probably every time is a strange time to live in, you know?
Imagine dying and ending up in dog heaven. Oops. What is dog heaven, though? You know, is dog heaven just something we make up because our egoistic propensity to want to own an animal, or to have that animal around forever because we're going to miss it and we love it, which is a product of ego?
Hmm.
Is that wrong, or is that right? You know, do
See,
we make up doggy heaven?
that's in the book of that's in the book of the dead. The book of the dead. It's a better book of the dead. If you fall too far in the Bardo realms, it's like, and lo and behold, you are a puppy with paws, barking with other puppies. It's like, no. I still think that's the riddle of Pinocchio and Pleasure Island, where they all get turned into donkeys. It's like they fall deeper into matter, so they're born into the animal kingdom. Although man really is an animal anyway.
Yeah, we're the accumulation of all that has been set before us, and we are the place in which all that is set before us is born.
God, needs work, that accumulation, doesn't it, from
Yeah,
human?
right.
God, that's the thing, you know, with respect to human progress. I swear the internet has just created all these echo chambers and these different groups that are just at each other's throats. It seems all very nonsensical. You know, I don't understand. But no, I read a book last week, Steve, actually. Brzezinski. He was the national security advisor to Jimmy Carter.
Mm-hmm.
And the book's called In Between Two Ages. This book was written in 1970. And this guy had some incredible gift of futurity, because literally everything he talks about in that book has come to be, has come to pass. But he talks about the new age of communications. He's talking about the internet. And he said some people will understand how to use the internet to figure out, to gain a greater understanding of the reality of around them, and other people won't have that ability. And it'll be like, you can have two people. He said you can have people living in the same neighborhood that are living in a completely different reality. And I remember, man, when I was in San Diego, I was driving like past some mall on this road, and on one side of the road there was all these Trump supporters, and on the other side of the road there was all these anti-Trump supporters. And I'm going, Jesus Christ, like, God, you're all Americans. You've all got to breathe the same oxygen and eat the same genetically processed nonsense. But yeah. Was Piccolo son saying that?
I don't know.
No human progress. No human progress process of consciousness becomes consciousness. No human progress processes of consciousness become God. I don't know what I'm gonna have to elaborate. Yeah, human is just a stage in evolution to divinity. No, absolutely. And my old buddy Tim Cameron says, "What about fun? There isn't much time for anything else these days." But I don't know. Toil in the dust, man. I give up on it, Tim. I just
That's you have to just I don't know how to I can't tell anybody how to deal with it, but for me, I don't even think about the shit.
man, I still like it. I just
I
remember
did last week and thought about it and it got to me and now I'm not even thinking about it again. But I'm not saying ignore it and don't propagate it, whatever you think is wrong, just make sure people know that you think it's wrong, and respect other people's opinions if they think it's right, because unless it's endangering you right now, gonna kill you right now, then you got to let people make their own decisions, and you have to accept people for what they decide to do, because that's in essence is all we can do.
well,
Right?
this is that what you've just said. Like we went through this earlier. It's that's the crux of this zeitgeist, isn't it?
Yeah.
I never thought I'd live in a time where bodily sovereignty was something that would come up. I thought it was just a given. Like if you want,
Do you think that will all come to pass, or do you think that there's I don't know, a means to an end here? I mean, is that what you're getting at?
it's all a means to an end. With the world stage, it's a stage. It's written and directed and produced with actors. That's why it's a stage. It's not real life, although it does affect our lives. But it's not real. It's fuck them. They're all going to die and wither like the grass at the end of summer. So I don't care. I don't know. I really can't speak for other people on this, but I just I don't know. I don't know what will come to be for the human race with regards to a scientific technocracy, Steve. But it's like Piccolo's son says, like human is just a process in the evolution, and I'd rather align with that. That I'm moving for a transient phase of my spiritual development, really.
Sadly, money is the ruler of our world. And sadly, every doctor is a slave to that money. Sadly, money is the reason the jab is being pushed. Sadly, the Pfizer CEOs come on the news networks and say that you need another shot because they deem it safe, and they're the makers of the shot. I get it. I understand all of this. I follow that totally. So how can we change that? Seriously, how can we change that? Can we change that through
I don't think that the only way it's going to change is, because they're saying in Britain, 80, they're now saying, over 75% of people have had their first dose. 80, it's high figures, basically, higher percentages of people. And I'm like, that's apparently only less than 10% of people in Britain haven't even had one shot. I think that's total and utter bullshit. I think that they're just trying to use the statistics to play on human conformity, because humans innately want to conform to each other. Well, the ones that don't think for themselves or aren't that far along in their process. But my point is this: the only way it changes is when enough people go, I'm sick of this shit. No, and we just get on with our lives again. So It's definitely it's definitely a psychological war going on, Steve. But I've got a great psychic self-defense, so you know I'm good.
Money money is the reason why Pfizer CEOs are coming on TV and saying that you need another Pfizer shot. I mean, if you look at all of this stuff from an observer perspective, you see that. And the whole
Here's the
thing
point,
is
Steve.
that, of course, if there's more vaccinated people in a population there, and everybody can get it, regardless if you're vaccinated or not, then the people that are getting it are going to be vaccinated because, you know, they're beyond that point. The Delta thing is beyond the vaccine helping you as far as spreading it and propagating it. Getting sicker or not, that's another question. And I
Yeah.
totally agree. If you're an older person and you need it or whatever, it's a good thing. But for
Who
me,
knows? Who knows?
I'm not gonna make any recommendations here nor there. I'm not gonna say it's bad or good. I'm just gonna say it's quite odd that ivermectin is not being propped up as it should be. You know, it's
You
a
know,
safest medication under the sun since all eternity, and it does the same thing that jab does for you. And you know, it's being touted as or shown to the public as you're not a horse. Come on, why would you even take that stuff? And you know, all of that is the only reason why I step back and say, what the hell's going on here? And to me, that's why I went on this whole talk about this whole, the money is the reason. The money is the reason for everything in our world.
Money. When you have, say, like the all the people that own the central banks that produce the fiat currency, when you have trillions of dollars, it doesn't become about the money and the national debt. It's about control and influence. Look, at the end of the day, it's like you said the other week, you know, we're all children of God. Even these people, these psychopathic aristocrats that are pushing this agenda, even they're still children of God, and they're going to have to accept that eventually. They're just where they are in their process of spiritual development, and they're going to come back as dogs in Vietnam, get whipped and cooked up in dog meat season.
Dude,
They will.
If I came back as my dog, I would live a hell of a life, dude. It made
they're not coming back
my
as
dog
your
is
dog.
spoiled, dude.
My dog's spoiled. In
My
fact,
dog's
when I go
living
in,
a freaking lap of luxury, man.
living the dream, living the dream.
The life of Riley, like you said.
Yeah, the life of. I thought that about cats as well, man. I thought, you know, cats. A cat that's well cared for seems to have this pretty easy life. I don't know. I'm not a cat, so I can't speak on behalf of cats, can I? But you know.
Hi, April. There was a time when I was afraid of April Chirpau because she was a seer or a megwitch, and I thought megwitch was a witch, an actual witch that was casting spells, but it means Thanksgiving or something like that in Native or something. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but hi, April.
Yeah, dog eat dog well.
Well, that's the side of your mouth. What are you talking about?
That's cannibalization, isn't it? Dog eat dog. Yeah, Steve, I think I'm going to go to bed because everyone's now talking about communism in the chat, which is really just a neo-feudal system, and I don't want to talk about.
See how this snowballs.
It does snowball. Someone said that, and yeah, as soon as you mention the vaccine or the jab or global communism, globalism,
that's what I mean.
But I don't blame people in the chat for erupting like this.
But I mean, this is what happens when you let it in, man.
But we have been under an incredible amount of psychic pressure from not necessarily.
How do you deal with that?
This it's like the Quakers, you know. We don't have COVID because we don't watch the TV. Turn the fucking thing off. Turn the fucking thing off. Stop watching BitChute videos about the jab or Rumble videos about the jab and fuck them. Like, people make their bed, they got a lie in
Piccolo
it.
says it's your job to help your dog find God, dude.
My dog wants a treat. That's what he wants. He's going to be, when I go in, he's going to be in that kitchen, wagging his tail, looking at me.
Right.
And I'm going to make myself some toast as well. So if he sees me making a midnight snack, he knows he's in business.
Right. All right, brother.
All right, man.
Thanks for having to talk with me, man. And we'll get together sooner.
Yeah, no.
This time.
Yeah, this has been a good. I think the energy's been good in this chat. It was pretty hectic last time we talked. It was quite stressful, but
Yeah, I was in a different place, and that's what I mean is the ebb and flow of life got to me then, and I was letting it all just pile into my mind and letting it in. And this right here, when you talk, you could just see the journey the chat went on, and it's just like our life and our zeitgeist filled realities that we.
yeah,
Probably.
I gotta be honest. I was watching one of your other videos once, and I was in the chat, and I couldn't help but just keep making really ridiculous comments. I
Right.
got sucked into this mob mentality. Of no offense to people in the chat, I just started making all these stupid comments, and
Exactly.
you know, I can't take it. This is the thing. I can't take physical life on Earth too seriously. If I take it, I just can't do it anymore. I really can't. I just give up on it. I don't give up on life, but I give up on all the bells and whistles that, you know, the devil dangles in front of me. You know, nice house, nice car, successful business, trophy wife, 6 months not working, a year because I've sold my business for $30 million or
Getting all
whatever.
the free stimulus money you can get.
I can't be bothered with it. I'm done. I'm done.
Right. I'm just worried about how I'm getting my next bowling ball.
Well, you know, that was one thing that Phil said in his last, not the one, not the last one he did, but the one before that. I think it's just part 4 of Revelations. He said, money just, the only purpose of money is to keep you alive. So you can have shelter from the elements. I mean, I'm not quoting him verbatim, but he said, like, you know, it keeps you alive. So, you know, you can have food, clothing, shelter, etc., heat in the winter, etc. And I'm really glad I just, there's so much on YouTube. There's so much. And in America as well. Maybe this is why I have to go back to America, because I don't really give a fuck about money. And there's too many Americans that are just chasing, you know, the gringos, as the Mexican call us, chasing that paper. And for what? At the end of the day, for what? What, so your kid can be fucking spoiled and not have to toil himself? No, that's not a good reason. Or so, I don't know. I just, there's definitely, you know, money, the idea that money brings freedom, yeah, it might bring you freedom in your temporal domain. Okay, you might not have to get up and go to work every day. You might not have to sit in traffic every morning like some putts. However, those things are the things that are good for you, you know?
If you had all the money in the world, would you ever be low enough to ask yourself,
if I had all the money in the world, it would be worthless because no one else would have any money. So it would have no value. So if I had all the money in the world, there would be.
You're number one, Jack. You're number one.
But I tell you, dude, if I had, say, the money that the banking Rothschild family had, oh man, I'm a crap tyrant. I don't want people can do whatever they want as long as they leave me the fuck alone.
Right. You know,
That's the thing. You know, people who want to be left alone, they won't act because they know that if they act, their life of being left alone could be in jeopardy.
well, because you're
But-
inviting argument, and that
But
means
but I tell you, eventually, if you piss off the people who want to be left alone enough, oh man, you see, like in Australia, they're going on the attack now, the Aussies, big time. I was watching all the videos of them beating up the police on BitChute and stuff. It's like, fuck. Yeah.
right.
All right,
All right,
I'm gonna get
You have
going,
a
man.
good night, man.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone in the chat, and yeah, Tim, hit me up. Send me an email. I put it in the chat, or I know Tim from a long time ago. So yeah, but yeah, no, thanks to everyone.
Thank you, Jack. I'm gonna continue to go while you're.
You gonna keep going?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit more.
I'm gonna have to make some toast and go to bed, and it's fucking freezing in here. It's cold.
What's the temperature like there in the UK these days?
Oh, I don't know. It's always grey in the UK. It's always grey. It's like I'm living in some. Well, it's not always grey, but most of the time it's temperate, crappy climate. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention actually before we go. I watched the Holy Grail the other day, and there's this bit in the beginning of the film. There's some bloke's wheeling this car, and he's ringing a bell. And he's going, "Bring out your dead! Bring out your dead!" So he's putting all the dead bodies on a cart to take them away, burn them, whatever. And this John Cleese is like, "Yeah, I've got one here," and the guy's like, "But I'm not dead yet." He's like, "Yeah, but you will be soon." So on you go. And in the end, the guy hits him over the head and kills him with a blow at the back of the head and throws him on. Oh, yeah, thanks for that. But I was watching that. I was like, God, that's like the whole mass genocide, isn't it? Agenda that they're talking about. I don't know. It seemed like that. It's like, I'm not dead yet. Yeah, you will be though. Bang.
When I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil.
The shadow of death, that's the cosmos, isn't it?
Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're living in the shadow of death because what's the light? True life, right? You know, the tree of life is born from the light, but the tree,
the completed tree, yeah.
Tree of good and evil is the thing that produces it, or the means to get to the eternal life. That's the ultimate archetype in the Trinity translation, I guess you could think of it as. I don't know how to articulate what I was trying to describe there, but whatever. All right, brother. Yeah, I wanted to thank everybody for joining us. Menza, Need to Know. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You're going to continue, are you, Steve?
Well, I had something to talk about, but I forgot what it was. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody.
You're looking pretty tired now, man.
I am. I've been working my butt off. I've been working hard.
Those stimulus payments dried up.
No, I just got called back from a guy that I used to work for, and it's a good.
Hey, man, maybe I'll move to Minnesota and go fishing.
Oh yeah.
I get a job as a janitor. But yeah. All right, dude. I'm gonna get going. Take care, guys. I'm gonna leave. Thanks to everyone in chat. Bye.
Bye, bud. Yeah, but this whole talk, you know, the title, the ad lib technical difficulties, all of it, you know, the messing up at the beginning of the show. In essence, that's life, right? So life in this reality is going to be unpredictable, is going to be uh, perceived as against you, is going to be perceived as great sometimes. But this life is what we make of it. And I think when we make of this life how we want to be treated is cliche, or, you know, maybe beyond most ability to think we can accomplish it, but or to understand that we can accomplish it. But what I'm saying is, you know, we have the ability to change how we perceive reality, and that perception turns into reality itself eventually. For we act upon how we think we see things. We react, right? So how can we change the world? In the simplest ways, how can we change the world? We can't go out and force people to change. We can start movements. We can add to the chaos. We could propagate the same old stuff and keep sending the messages out that this is this, this is that, when all we're doing is re-establishing that which we want to change by sharing certain things with everybody. Dare I say, we live in a double standard type mindset, as far as, okay, we all know that if you don't watch the zeitgeist or the MSM media, doesn't make it go away, but it doesn't affect your reality, right? You don't live through the ups and the downs of the collective world per se. Live every day in the now, you know, but do it in a loving way. And I think, you know, it sounds simple and stupid. I mean, it's simple. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Be kind. It costs nothing. This is true. Change ourselves. This is true. Sounds like a dream. Yes, it does. The rise of the Sephiroth was about learning and knowledge, the ascension of the mind from the darkness of ignorance and stupidity, which is pretty much the same philosophy and perspective I have. Thoth, man, I love you, brother. I never thought I'd hear or see you type that, dude. Like police in bad neighborhoods. No, that goes along with your persona. They were Germanic tribe of the Middle Ages. Yeah. Dealing with horrible and bad people too much can have an effect on your perceptions. Yes, it can. And this is true. And makes one wonder what one has done to get that lot in life again, or before, if you've had it before, you know. And I don't know if there's a way to tap into our past life scenarios, you know, and like Dolores Cannon, you know, that quantum hypnosis therapy, QHHT, I think she called it. But some of the stuff she said made a lot of sense. Who knows if it's all true? By acting from our own centers, never impulsively react to humans, particularly dumb ones. It's all they know how to do. Most of the parasite regime relies solely on scripted, expected fear reaction. This is true. Yet, if we just step back and see everything as it is, and just know, and don't propagate that fear to somebody else, or reaffirm their fears. See, now that's a thing with sharing information, especially rabbit hole information or conspiracy type information, you know, or even flat earth information, any information. Anytime you propagate information, whether it's true, false, or otherwise, it gives it levity in someone else's discernment process. Now, what is always going to be, right? It doesn't matter what it ain't. I can't say it any simpler than that. What it is always going to be. But it isn't going to be what it ain't. People are like water. You are not the same person you were years ago. If that's true. Yes. Yes. Enlightened minds are clever. Enlightened hearts are kind. Yes. Right. And pessimism does create empathy, and it does because you feel the plight of others, and because you're in that pessimistic mindset, you are more apt to put yourself in others' shoes. An empath does that on a level beyond decision of putting themselves or thought of putting themselves in their shoes. They just feel as they see it, you know, right? Like when you see someone struggling and go to help them, you know, and there's certain situations in life where you know you should help somebody, and when you don't, you feel bad about that. Now, act upon those moments. Now, don't go out being frivolous with your safety and helping every and anybody that looks like they need help, because there are some, you know, things out there that we must be aware of. I mean, and this is the dichotomy of human existence, right? Like I said earlier, in dualism, opposites attract. In spirituality, like attracts like. Why is that? Through friction, more friction is born. Through solace, peace, goodness, all is well. Without the negative, the positive wouldn't have a place, and vice versa. So know that, you know, there are going to be bad things in life, but in the moments when you look to yourself, within yourself, I think we can live in, love out, nothing can phase us, right? With that, I'm done with my cliche affirmations. Stay tuned for the next episode of, I will tell you more bullshit, and you can believe my bullshit, or you can go out and you can propagate your own bullshit. But know that the bullshit here is the best bullshit on the interweb. Bullshit for free. Bullshit is me. No, all bullshit aside, truth, love, and happiness is all we need to be alive, right? I mean, without you, who would I be? No bullshit, all bullshit aside. Everything is borrowed. Yes. If you are prepared for the worst case scenario, then it won't be as bad as it would be if hadn't been prepared for it. Right. Just be aware of COVID. Right. I'm not saying there ain't, yeah, I'm not saying any of that. Right. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Yes. And that happens to everybody I know too, Thoth. Like, my brother and his wife and everybody were like, I don't believe in it. You know, I don't think it's real. And all of a sudden, my sister-in-law's in the hospital in the ICU because they all got COVID. So yeah, reality has a weird way of slapping you in the head, right? Smarten up, you know. Yeah, now this is the thing. This is the thing, thought. That right there. Okay, so if you're not and you get it, and you okay, if you're not VE'd and you get it, and you have an alternative medicine to get over it, then your antibodies or your immunity is 13 times stronger, whatever. But if you have the thing and you don't have an alternative medicine, you end up in the hospital and could possibly die. But if you have the thing and you get it, some people may go to the hospital and whatever, but you're not as likely to get seriously ill. But that makes you more prone to getting it again because you have no natural immunity, right? So therefore, if you're VE'd and you get it, you have no protection to getting it again. And your immunity wanes faster because unless you get a booster, your odds of getting sicker are going up as the days progress from when you had your last booster. So therefore, the booster is the money maker for, you know, do you see what I mean? See what I mean? Yes. That's where I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at with the money thing. That's the furthest I want to go down that tunnel. Because it makes complete sense that if you want to make money endlessly, have something to make a solution for that you're going to need the solution for forever. Right? You need all sides. This is true. This is true. This is true. I know nothing. So what I just said is just speculation. I'm just saying it from an observational standpoint, married to somebody that has the vaccine, right? Right. I've seen all those kind of videos, Omenza. I know the whole thing. Echo chambers, yes. What's up, Zenza Bill? How you doing, bud? How's life over there at Jimmy Neutron's channel, where he likes to censor people just because they hit him with the truth or ask him the pertinent questions about money? What's up, Zenza Bill? I'm just kidding. I don't know what it's about. All I know is that I'm just going to propagate my reality as, you know, happy and, you know, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be breathing and farting in my self-proclaimed free world. You know, what is free, right? I know I got free love, free time, freedom from the sublime. Yes, exactly. 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 Me too. Yeah, I think you're a troll, but I love you. What's Jimmy got on for a guest tonight? I'm glad you're good. Yeah, I like to be around people I don't agree with completely, because it's the only way to open your mind and learn different things, right? Kriya F-28 discusses the film Extraordinary, the Revelations, and the Orion Council. "10,000 years of experience servicing the Star City community." Oh, is that one? Was she on there before? You know, and this is the thing, Wobbly Boost. I think we just have to accept people for. Uh, you're still obsessed with Krista. Yeah, all of it's utter bullshit. I mean, you go from one extreme to another with this whole COVID thing. I mean, it's just insane. It's insane across the board. But, you know, to, the information overload that we are experiencing on all levels is by our own hand. We are to blame for it. I take full responsibility for my actions, for my part in this reality, and I vow to change what I can for the better. And how do I do that? I guess that's up to me to decide how I can do that in my life, right? Thought there's a little devil. And I've missed you. I've missed you all. You know, this is why I wanted to hang out for a little longer, just because I wanted to say thank you to you guys. The hidden power of anomaly detected. What does that mean? Everything is extreme, yes. And this, if you look at just the I don't know, the underlying ebb and flow of creation, the cycles, the yugas, the system as it ages, the entropy, the entropic system as it ages, chaos ensues. And this happens. This is part of it. Everything happens for a reason. You know, everything does. Agree, Wobbly both. Disagree with Steve that it's our fault. I'm not saying everything is our fault. I'm saying that we played a part in it. You didn't play a part in this world. You've never thrown anything in the garbage that isn't decaying in some fucking landfill somewhere. You haven't consumed goods and whatnot in this world. You haven't contributed to the nonsense that's going on in the world. That's what I mean. That's all. I'm not saying that we are to blame personally. I'm saying that we all have a part in it. And me, for one, I'm not going to pass my buck off on somebody else and blame them. Right? That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that me as a human being, I consumed a bunch of bullshit, threw a bunch of garbage away, lived my life as I didn't give a shit about nature. I use my cell phone. I still continuously throw garbage into the ocean. I assume that's where it's going. You know, seeing as there's an island the size of Texas in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So in my world, I guess that has bearing on what I've done in my part in the world. So I've added to the craziness that is consumerism, cars, stars, and bars mentality. To this day, I still add to that. I try not to propagate things or think I have the greatest, latest this or that, but I still wear shoes on my feet. I still have a cell phone in my hand, and I still consume endlessly, because that's what I am, as a creature of wrath that will just consume, just like a black hole is in space, consume matter endlessly, grow exponentially, and eventually evaporate and die. In that process, what am I doing in that process to better the world? Am I buying goods? Am I buying from a tyrannical regime? Am I, what have I researched everything I paid for and made sure that it wasn't born out of some evil man's mind? So I've contributed to this nonsense, haven't I? Now, do you follow me, Menza? That's what I mean by that. Not that I'm to blame or you're to blame for the evil that's in the world, but we all have played a part in it, whether you want to admit it or not. Me, I'm going to buck up and admit it. And I'm not saying that, I'm going to roll over and let some griller stick a fork in me because I'm done. I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying that I'm evil or you're evil or you created the evil. Just because of you, evil exists. So when you say things like that, like I think it's our fault. Well, is it your fault or my fault that you think the reality is the way it is, or can I impose my thoughts on you? That's what I'm getting at here. We make our own reality, in essence. So, did you contribute or not? And from now on, for me, I'm just going to give it back as love, regardless, and acceptance. Whether you want to accept if you had a role in it or not, that's up to you. But to me, I did. That's all I'm getting at. With that, I'm going to say, hey guys, much peace, love, chicken grease.